Why would a veteran want their C&P exam result? I definitely have an opinion on this, and I'm going to give it, but I want to hear your thoughts first. I don't want to sway your answer here.
Right. You know, I'm kind of in the boat of, in some cases, less is more. You know, I mean, you can get so wrapped around the axle on all of this stuff, and for some people, you'll just be swimming in this bowl and focused on things that don't matter. And that's a dangerous place to be in, because then you're not addressing the actual issue at hand. You're addressing something that I did serve from this time to that time, and they got it, and it's like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that it says that, and it changes nothing, because your condition isn't even a presumptive that requires you to be there. Your condition is just this, and they're saying that it's this because of that. And so it's a slippery world, I think, when it comes to this stuff. I think that why you would want it would be typically really only if you're denied. I mean, really, and then it's just to see. But they tell you in your letter anyway why. Of course, then you can read into it a little bit and see exactly what the verbiage was that made the VA say that you weren't X. We'll say service connected, right? So if they denied your service connection, I mean, really, you're just gonna what we did from an accredited representative aspect was two things. We'd scan through these C&P exam results, right? Scan through it, looking for at least as likely as not, right? So that's the first thing we're scanning for. We're not reading the whole thing. We're just scanning to look for that, number one, because the first thing is getting you service connected. Then the second thing is, okay, what verbiage do they put in there that relates to your rating schedule, right? Did they put in verbiage that takes you down to a 10%, or did they put verbiage that moves you up? What they don't do is they don't go, this is what does not happen, just so folks know, for those that don't. They don't say, at least as likely as not, they should be service connected at 80%. They don't do that. They just give words. Then it's up to the VA rater to look at those words and match those words up with words in your or words in the schedule of ratings. And then they're supposed to go, 50-ish? Well, we'll go with 50, right? When really maybe it was supposed to be a 70. Who knows, right? So that's why we have all these different, review processes and appeals and so forth. So back to the why you would want it. I mean, people are funny, right? So everybody wants it for a different. I want it for my records. Why? I mean, I don't know. I mean, just so you could have it. Cool. You could get it for one if you're denied, so you can read through it, see what they said. One is that. Two would be if you believe that they shortchanged your rating. They gave you a 30 instead of a 50, and you feel as though, I had a really clear conversation. I was educated, right, Clay? I did my homework before I went there. I printed it out. I took it with me and I read it to them verbatim, what I was experiencing that should have taken me to a whatever percentage, but I got less than that. So I want to see what they said. But at the end of the day, Clay, does it really matter? Because what are you going to do with that? Oh, they didn't put it in there. They're wrong. No, you're not going to do that, because nobody cares.
Yeah.
What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to supply a supplemental claim with additional evidence that double down.
Yeah.
That will double down. There you go. That will double down on the severity of your situation. So I think in a lot of cases, Clay, you really don't need it. If you were denied service connection, what are you going to do? You're going to file a supplemental claim with additional information. If you were denied the amount of percentage you think you should have gotten, you're going to go get more information, more evidence, and you're going to supply a supplemental claim. Both of those things don't take me reading a C&P exam to figure it out. I'll tell you right now, the most common reason why I ever heard of anybody wanting to see it was right after it happened, so they can somehow try to figure out if one, they're going to be service connected, and if two, they're going to get the rating they want. That was it. It was never after the fact, because after the fact, the VA spells it out in their letter, essentially. We didn't rate you this percentage because you didn't meet the qualifications here. Okay, even if the C&P exam screwed it up, what are you going to do? You can't, well, they should have put more stuff. Reach back out to them and have them tell you more. They're not. You need to go do a supplemental, go get more evidence and supply it. So it really doesn't. So I know it sounds weird, and that's why I keep trying to kind of position it in different ways so people understand where I'm coming from, because I don't think it's absolutely necessary. I think you can work without it, is the bottom line. To you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that because I'm on the same page.
Oh, thank God. Oh,
Checking, you know, you,
I
you
was getting
have
ready to
the
be like, okay, we're gonna have to arm wrestle. Great.
not this time.
Oh,
You know, you have people who check their claim every single day after they submit for the next 6 months. That's going to make you crazy. The crackhead level of that, and I'm saying that as a joke, the crackhead level of that is requesting your C&P exam results because they do nothing for you outside of seeing that at least as likely as not. So, for instance, if you say, "Hey, VSO, you know, is there any word from that C&P exam?" They may not show it to you because it's a legal
right,
document. They're not technically supposed to, but
right,
they may say something like, "Hey, it's a favorable C&P exam." What that means is they exactly what Jason just said. They see the at least as likely as not, meaning you're going to be good to go. And if they say it's not favorable, then that's what they mean. It's probably less likely as not or due to. As far as why veterans would want them, there's really is no reason at all. Um, I can't think of a
mm,
single reason outside of to prepare your supplemental claim. But again, that's why if I requested my C&P exam results, it would be to prepare supplemental. But I know that when veterans request C&P exam results, they just want to see if they're service connected and what rating they're going to get. It has nothing to do with preparing that supplemental appeal. And at the end of the day, if you watch Jason and I, you should submit your claim with evidence. In theory, in practice, um, as a veteran, you should already know, hey, that's a 30%. Okay. And look and you have to step back and be objective about your evidence. That's difficult to do. But if you can be objective and say, hey, that's 30%, it might be 50, but this is why it's 30. And you know you have that evidence, assuming your service connected. If it's not 30 and you have the evidence, then you know to submit an HLR. And so that's a very super, super common. Most HLRs that are granted are for low ball ratings that were increased. It's very rare to see an HLR, a higher level review granted for service connection. That's really going to require that supplemental appeal and that additional evidence. But again, C&P exam results are stupid. Although it's one of the most common questions I get. There's
how can I
if
get my
you
C&P?
Yeah, if you want your C&P exam results, I mean, you can go. I'm going to tell you how to get them, but my advice really would just be to chill out, breathe a little bit. You're going to be fine. If you know you don't have the evidence right now, after you watch this full episode, please uh, go get the evidence. All right. So, how to get your C&P exam results? There are many ways. Depends on where you're at. The most beneficial or the easiest are for those who are active duty. Your C&P exam results are going to be in your TRICARE Online. I think it's called Genesis now. I'm
Mm,
not sure where Genesis is at. It's basically just TRICARE Online 2.0. And so your BDD claim results are going to be in your TRICARE Online, which is the easiest way to get these. Obviously, that only pertains to this group of people. Everyone else has to deal with these three options. And I would do these in order, by the way. One is going to be your VSO. Okay. Get an appointment with your VSO. They may or may not show you your C&P exam results. They're not supposed to actually, but it's just they'll say, hey, it's a favorable CMP exam. That's all you need to know. The second option is to go through your regional office. I would definitely call them, especially if it's like a 4-hour drive. Don't just randomly show up. Okay. Call them. See if they can tell you your CMP exam results over the phone. They may not. See if they can tell you in person. And then that fourth option, which the VSO and the RO might direct you to, is to complete that FOIA request for your CMP exam results, not necessarily your whole C file. That will come much faster. I've seen CMP exam results come in 3 days. I've also seen them come in like a month and a half. But it's definitely faster than 6 to 9 months. Do you have any last rounds for CMP exam results? Because I just can't stay in that question.
Yeah, I'm just going to double down on the, if you think you want it, ask yourself why. And if it's on a claim that's already been decided, and you want to see why they did that, whatever it is, it's really, it doesn't really even matter. I mean, you're gonna take a knee, you're gonna adjust fire and move forward the same exact way, depending on what you are appealing or putting in for review, whether it was service connection or your rating. You're going to go through the same steps regardless. So don't bog yourself down trying to get extra things and stressing yourself out. If it's like Clay said, if you're in process on your claim and you just did your CMP exam 3 days ago, and you want to know what it is because you're just antsy to see if you got service connected, right? And I get it. Everybody, it is that, it is the longest period in your life waiting, for those first claims to go through, because the dollar figures that are at the end of it and the free medical and everything else that comes with it. So I get it. Reach out to your accredited rep. If you did not utilize an accredited rep to file your claim, that's okay. You can still reach out to an accredited rep. They'll have you sign an appointment, an authority appointment, appointing them as your representative. And they'll submit that to the VA. It takes a day or two for the VA to process it and put them in place to actually view your information in the VA system remotely. So once that happens, then they can jump in, they can look at your file, pull up your CMP exam. And like Clay said, we're not supposed to tell you, right? Everything about it or what we see. But typically you will get the answers of, it looks like the CMP exam results are in, and, it seems like it's going to be okay. It seems like it's going to look good. It seems all right. Seems favorable. So it's going to be vague-ish, but good or bad. You can you'll be able to gather one of those two things. And if you get a kind of it looks good type of a answer, then move forward and just, think about it, wait for the results to come in. If it's bad, maybe you might be able to find out if it's a service connected issue. It's less than likely type of a thing. Or if it's a rating issue, as far as your percentage is concerned, maybe you can kind of get that information out of your accredited rep, and then you can start working on that. You might as well start that process now while you're waiting for the VA to finish their decision. Let's say it's another month before they actually notify you. You could have already had an appointment or two with a doctor. You could have been working on a Nexus letter, getting buddy statements, whatever you need to do to supply additional evidence. So that way you can just file that supplemental right away, just to kind of speed the process up. So that's really all I have to add on or to double down on there, Clay. So we can move on to the next one.